Hey guys, how's it going? I decided to redo my last tutorial on U7 weapons because it was kind of all over the place. So I now have a notepad that kind of goes over the basics of what I need to go over. Um, so the first thing you want to do is you want to bring your model in. I am using a free model I found just because I suck at modeling curved blades like this. Um, and then when you move it in, you want to resize it first. So I got my dagger here. I'm going to rotate 90 so you can see it better. Oop, no, on the Y. So I got my dagger here. You can kind of see the size. The Raider's axe is going to be rather large. So I'm going to rescale it later after I test it. Rescaling after you test it is a little harder because you also have to rescale your colliders and everything. So once you rescale it, you're also going to want to go. So I got my textures in here. You're going to want to get your materials if you have them. You can drag your material straight in. Or if you just get a bunch of textures, you want to put your default material. Oh, you want to open this. You want to put your default material on top of that. And then this one's metallic. If it's got like dark black, that's usually metallic. If it doesn't specifically say. Like that's metallic. That's metallic. That one just says it. So it's easier to tell, but there's more detail. Then your ones that are almost all white, like this one, this one, this one, this one, are ambient occlusion. And then your purple is normal map. When you do drag your normal map in, let me do it on this. Oh, never mind. So, I'm going to just put this normal map onto this dagger. It'll say, this texture is not marked for a normal map. Do you want to fix now? Fix now. If you don't do that, it'll just yell at you later. That just makes the dagger look silly because that's not its texture and stuff. So, got our dagger, we resized. You want everything to be pretty much at 0, 0. So once you got that all done, then we can move on. So you're done with your model, so you want to right click, unpack at this point. And then create an empty, name it your weapon. Because there's already a Dane axe, I'm just naming it Raider's axe. This is For Honor's Raider's axe, if you can't tell or don't know. So now you want to add component to your parent. You're going to make an item definition. You're going to ID your weapon. We'll do C axe, because for now I'm not going to do a one-handed axe. I might later for Berserker, but it's unlikely. So in here, all you're going to need to do is item ID for now. We will come back to this later. You want to go to your holder point. Ooh, wow, voice crack. Holder point, you want to first make sure everything's 0, 0, 0, including your models. After I just told you guys and then I don't do it myself. Okay, so holder point. This is where the point where you hold it on your back or on the weapon rack or on your hip. So I want it kind of down here, and then blue should be pointing down. So rotate on the X90. So on the weapon rack and on my back, it'll hold it right here, and then it'll go downward. I should probably move it up just a little bit, but like that. Parry point. This isn't really necessary if the enemies are never going to hold your weapon, but this is where the enemies hold your weapon to parry. I don't think enemies ever actually have two-handed weapons, but you never know. Actually, yeah, they don't, because they try to use it one-handed. Pardon me, that was a cough. Muted my mic. Preview is what is shown in the book. I'm going to, not 20. I'm going to make mine 3 so that it goes over the whole axe. Dark blue arrow, that one right there, points towards viewer. I'm going to explain how to position your blunt damagers because I forgot to do that in the last one. So now that we're done with that, we go to make colliders. So you want to create an empty, name it colliders. I find it best to do a collider for each damager you're going to do. that's not necessary. If, say, you want your axe head, and let's say that this had a more of a slash on it, and you wanted these to have the same slash, you could put them under the same collider group, and it would work really well. But I'm going to make the pommel strike do a punch damage, and then the handle do handle, and then the axe head do slash. No, I'm not going to do blunt. I was thinking maybe a blunt there, but that'd be a little hard to do. I mean, I could do that. Actually, I will do that. I'm going to create 4 empties then. 3, 4. Oop, not select. So we're going to have the axe head. I'm going to drag this over here. This moving this stuff isn't necessary. It just makes it easier when you make the colliders. It spawns right in the center. This one will be the shaft. This one will be the pommel. And we're going to drag that down. And then this one will be the, I don't know what to call that, so I'm just going to call it blunt. Drag it up here, and then right there. So now you're going to add a component on each of these collider group. And then imbue magic on the parts you actually want to do the most damage. I don't know exactly what this does, but I imagine it's like the electric mod. It tells you where the electric should go. So now on each of these, you're going to create an empty inside of them. You need at least one, but you can do as many as you need. Colliders can overlap each other, and the more you do, the better it gets. So I'm going to skip the head for now because I'm actually going to try something with that later. So for the shaft, you're going to add component. I like to use capsule colliders for the shafts. We are going to do a height of, I think 2.3 was about right. Yeah. You just kind of want to get it around because then you can click Edit Collider and you can drag these guys in. Oop, that's a little too far. Then we're going to drag you down. So there is a slight curve to this weapon. That's not going to bother me too much, but if it bothers you, you might want to do more than one collider. For the sake of the video, I am not going to, though I am likely going to upload this weapon. So I realize my model's not exactly perfect on the, I think that's the X. It might be the Z. Colliders. No, I want to go up. Oops. So 13 maybe? I don't like to rotate colliders. It just gets too hard from there. Sorry, I'm a little sick today. So I think my best bet is probably to actually hit the rotate tool. Colliders. I'll rotate my collider like I just said I wasn't going to do. Actually, I rotated the entire group of colliders. That may come back and bite me in the ass later. So you want to get it as close as possible. Like I said earlier, overlapping isn't a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. So for the pommel, you'll want to name these. For the pommel, I am going to do a box collider. There is no pyramid collider that I know of. I could be wrong. Kinda sucks, but you know, oh well. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a spear collider. Nope, 0.1. Let's do something like that. Reason I'm going to use a sphere collider. And can I make it a more of a capsule actually? I cannot. Let me actually do a capsule collider. The reason I'm doing this is for that curve, so I can get that curve. Because I don't think many people are going to hold. Okay, so for in this example, you're going to want to move it on the z-axis, I think. I think that allows you to now pull this down. Okay, no, I want the x-axis. Because I don't think many people are going to hold this handle and then try to hook. I mean, they might. I'm not going to judge people for playing how they want to play. So we do that. We want to edit collider. We're going to drag you in to about there. I'm going to drag top down you in a little bit. And then I'm going to move, slide it up, and then we're going to rotate. When rotating, you rarely want to hit this white one because that'll rotate it on all the axes you are looking at. Since I only needed to move it on the z-axis, the blue, I grabbed the blue and then moved the blue. Red is X, green is Y. So that's good enough. I forgot to do this with the last one. So you want to material, you want to make that whatever you're going to use. So the back, I'm actually going to do metal heavy because I like the sound it makes compared to the normal metal. For your shaft, you want to do wood hard, or if anything wood, you want to do wood hard, unless if you want to be able to pierce it, in which case you want to do wood soft or just wood. That allows you to use a dagger and stab through it. So if you want a shield that you can stab through, then that's what you would do. So for this one, we are going to come up here. We are going to add it looks like a box collider would work for this. So we're going to do a box collider. We're going to edit collider, so we're going to look at it from this direction, like that. Drag the sides in. I'm going to go to this side, drag the top down. And then the sides. I like to do that just to get it as close as possible. And then you zoom in and you do it better. So you do that, that. I'm not too concerned I'm going to lose the round parts. I'm actually going to do that so that it butts up against the handle collider. Actually, I'm going to make it intersect. And then, so we got that. And I'm going to name that flat. I don't know. So this is going to be metal hard too. Or metal heavy. And this last one, I'm going to try a mesh collider. I wouldn't recommend doing this. Well, you will find out when we get to the game if this works. I would recommend doing like a box collider here, and then maybe like almost stacking them upward, and then same downward. Maybe even rotate, because that's rather flat side. So rotate, and then here you'll want to do like a box, a box, a box, a box, and then a box. It's not the easiest thing, or you could. No, you really couldn't get away with a capsule collider, because looking at it from the X, as that happens. Looking at it from the X, it's flat. So, I'm going to add a mesh collider. Material, we want, this one's just going to be normal metal. I really have no clue how this works. I think I need to find my Raider's axe. It should be in here somewhere. Danax, that'll be what it's called. And that is not right. What is going on with that? We actually come up here. We're gonna copy my scale. Oops. Oh, I put my mesh glider on the wrong one. Don't mind me. Mesh glider. Convex. Convex allows you to see it. I don't know if it does anything aside from that. So we are going to put Danax. I'm going to copy my scale. I want point, not 246,000. I want point. There we go. Rotation, we're going to have to copy that from here. 25, 245, negative 13. I think that was right. Oops. And then plus 2.83, so 11.17. Okay, so I understand what the mesh collider is trying to do. It's making a collider, but then it's, for whatever reason, connecting the head to the base. So it doesn't look like a mesh collider is going to work for me, unfortunately. Unless if I want some air here, but that's probably not going to work too well. And I don't think there's a way I can change that. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a way to change that. But I'm still going to do it just because I'm not sure how this works. So I want, not everything. I want, well, I guess everything, because that's what was normal. We are going to move it on top of my axe. Because I don't know if what this does is if it looks at what's in the mesh, and then it makes it from there. A little more. There we go. I'm going to pull it back that way. For the most part, I just want it around the head. But I think that's... Oh, I lost my stuff. But I think that's good. So, I'm going to just name this mesh so that I know what to fix when I come back in here. So we are now done with gliders. I am. You might still be working on it because the more the better, like I said. So now we want to make a handle. So we're going to click on the parent. We're going to right click, create empty. If you ever have a question about something, or after you do something major, go ahead and click on your parent. So for example, mine says collider mesh is missing a physics material and will not make sounds. That's because I forgot to change this to metal. And I actually want, yeah. Mesh colliders take up a lot of resources. So the bigger your mesh, the mesh collider, the worse off it's going to be, assuming this even works. So if you are going to use a mesh collider, I'd recommend that for smaller stuff. And honestly, smaller stuff is probably what mesh colliders are supposed to be for, because, I mean, try doing stuff like small details, it's not fun. So we're going to name this handle. We're going to add component, handle, definition. We want to change the length to anything right now. I think, what, 2.5 is what my shaft was, or my collider was. Either way, you're going to drag this down. Oop, I missed my click. You're going to drag this down to where you want to be able to hold it. I obviously don't want to be able to hold it in the head, and I obviously don't want to grab the pommel. But a little extra will not hurt. Touch radius, I like to, I like to try to match my handle, but smaller makes it feel better, because if you make it slightly bigger, your hands just kind of float where the handle should be, or where it thinks the handle is. And then your reach, I always make it about the size of, where's reach? There it is. The size of my weapon. That's way too big. So let's do like 1.3. Good. Now on the handle, you're going to want to go to allowed orientations, 4. This is for how many different ways you can hold it. So if you want more, you can do more. Like, for example, let's say you have a weapon that you want to be able to hold vertically and then also horizontally. You would only need 2. But if you want to be able to hold it backwards in those positions, you want 4. If you want to be able to hold it like 45 degrees, you want to add more. But at that point, it gets kind of weird, because when you grab it, you'll very rarely grab it in the way you want to. So element 0, you want to hide that so you don't actually mess with it. You want to do is default, set to none for all of these. Element 1, 180 on the Y. Element 2, 180 on the Z. Element 3, 180 on the Y and the Z. So that is the handle done already. If you want a fly reference, so when you throw a weapon, you want to create an empty fly ref. You can name these whatever you want, but it's always good to keep them named similar so you know what they are. So if you want a fly reference, you don't actually need that. There's no script for this. You would just drag it up to your weapon head. Blue is the direction it'll go. I'm not going to use one, so I'm not going to bother rotating the blue. If I did, it'd be that, I think, unless I just did it backwards. So if I threw it, it would fly that way. It wouldn't, well, you can add in if you want to make it rotate, but since it's a two-handed weapon, I'm not going to do that. You would go in here, you would drag your fly reference onto there. And then while you're also here, you want to drag your handle there, which I think it automatically did. Either way, I'm not doing a fly reference because my weapon is not going to fly or be thrown. So next thing you want to do, you want to create a whoosh point. You can name that whatever, but you're going to add a component whoosh. You're going to put this to your blade or wherever you want the noise to come from. You are going to, I'm pretty sure it's just blue pointed in the direction. That's usually the go-to. So that's done already. Now we are going to create another empty, and we are going to do the parry definitions. If you're doing something small like a sword, you probably only need 1. This tells the AI how to parry, or what part of the weapon to parry. So I'm going to put this over like that, kinda. So they can kind of see the blunt, but then they also see the handle. That might mean that this part right here they won't react to, but I'm going to be holding it there anyway, so I don't care. And then since I have an axe, I'm going to create 2. I'm going to name this parry def 2. Add another one. And then, and drag this over here. I'm going to make it a little bit longer. And then do that. So something like that, so they can kind of see the weapon. I might even make a third one, now that I'm thinking about it. Because if you make it so that they don't see something, if you are like me, you will abuse it. It's just kind of a known fact. That's what I do. If something is easy to cheese, you will do it. So there we go. So now they are going to react to the length of this. They're going to react to the height of the blade, and they're going to react to the handle down to the pommel. If I really wanted to, I'd make a fourth one and just do the pommel, so that this part of the handle isn't unseen. So that's the parry definitions. Now you want to do damagers. You want to right click, create empty, damagers. And then I like to put my damagers inside of a folder. You don't have to do this if you want to skip damagers and go straight to blunt. And then all that stuff. It's just easier for me. I'm going to create 4. 1 for each of my colliders. You don't need to do it for 1 for each. That's just how I set up my colliders. Say there's a collider you don't want to do damage. You don't need to make a damager for it. Or if you have, say, actually now I'm thinking about it, I'm going to need 2. No, I need 3 or 4, sorry. Yeah, because you can only put 1 for. So, slash. It's always good to get in a habit of, not what I meant to do, of doing it in order of what you need to do. So it always goes pierce slash then blunt. So blunt, handle, blunt, I don't remember what I named. We'll do a blunt pommel. What did I name this? Flat. So we'll name this one blunt flat. The name of these don't really matter. These are what you want to pay attention to. Or sorry, no, these do matter. These don't matter when you're doing the damagers. So now you're going to add a component damager definition. I'm going to go ahead and put 1 on each of these and then go through them separately. And then I'm also going to make a pierce just for show. If I was going to keep this, this would go on top. It would go right here. Oh, sorry. Right. Well, my mouse wants to work. Right there. So for pierce, I'm going to go ahead and go over that real quick. Penetration. That is what you... Or sorry, depth is what you want. So let's go with 1. I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, it really doesn't matter. Okay, no, it's depth. So this is how far it'll go through. So say I had... I'm actually just going to rotate you. And, no, not that way. There you go. That works. So we're going to drag you down. Then you up. Then we're going to select forward. I think I got this backwards. Okay, I got it backwards. So we're going to... drag you up again. So red arrow is where you will pierce. You want that to be sticking out just a little bit so that it can actually hit it before it hits a collider. Because if it hits the collider before the actual pierce, you will not pierce. So the way this works is... So if I wanted to somehow make my handle pierce, I'd have a spike on there. And then I'd do the pierce, and then I would position this to go to where the spike ends. If it goes through another collider group, you want to stop it before that collider group. Because if not, if you stab them that far, the game will freak out about it and your weapon will start twitching everywhere. It'll sometimes literally fly out of your hand and take the enemy body with it. I've had that happen. It's sometimes entertaining. If you want to do it, do it. So if I wanted to have a pierce here, I'd end it about here because I have my back end coming up to about here. If I wanted my pierce to go further, I'd pull my back end up, or I'd put my back end into the same collider group as my head. But that's not what I want to do, because if I put my back end with my head and then do the blunt damage for the back end, the head will also do the blunt damage up here. which is not what I want to do because I'm going to make this do like maul damage. So it'll do a lot of blunt damage. So that's pierce. You want to set it to penetration depth and then forward. And then you would select your collider group. So, for example, this would be shaft if I wanted to do it. So we are going to delete that because I'm not going to do that. We'll go over blunt first here. So you don't want to touch direction, penetration, length, or depth for blunt. You're going to go, this is my handle, so shaft. Same thing. And then I'm going to put this right here. This is where it will show up on the book how much damage a shaft will do. So damage pommel, same thing, but we're going to select pommel. And we're going to move it down to the pommel. And then the flat, same thing. Right there. Now for the slash, you want length. Let's do like, oh, well, 2 is a lot. 0.5 for now. I am actually going to do 2 separate slashes. Penetration depth, you want at least something there. This will make it so that it pierces. I just can never remember which way you want to face it, if it's yellow side in or yellow side out. I want to say it's yellow side out. You want forward. Oh. Okay, yeah, it's yellow side out you want. If you have a double-sided weapon, you want forward and backwards, and then you can just go along the length. Just make sure that if you do that, you make sure your penetration depth is much longer. Because that'll transfer over to both sides. But anyways, we go to, I don't want that, I want like, we'll do something like that. So enable this, we're gonna rotate 90, not there, on the Y. Actually, come to think about it, I should probably just rotate it this way. So negative 90. That's about right. Well, I'll take that. We're going to drag this guy here. Hope I lost. No, I just went forward. Okay, sorry. It's yellow side inward because I can see the arrow now. So I want you to be positive. Or sorry, no, I want my X to be. No, I can't remember which. Do I want you to be 180? Nope. So you positive 90. Yeah, that'll work. And we drag my X. That sounded wrong. So we drag you. Oop. Down here. If you do more than one, you want to be careful not to overlap your slashes. Because then you can start hitting multiple slashes on the same blade. So we got that, but it's not lined up right. Go figure. So I'll do something like that, and then we'll do another one on top. So collider group, head. We're going to create another. Come up here. Slash. Oh, well, slash 2. Add component, damager. Change collider group to head. Actually, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just copy and paste this. So if you ever want to copy a component, you click on the gear, copy component. Come over to the other one. Paste as new. Paste component values. This is what I want in this case. And then I want to copy paste values. Okay. So now I can manually move it if I remember where the move tool is. If you want to move the whole thing all at once, you want to enable you want to enable center transformation. If you want to move just one point at a time, you want to do point to point. So if I really wanted to, I would spend more time on this because there's parts where it goes through. But because I'm making this for a tutorial, I'm not going to be too worried about it. Like, for example, right here, I want to be a little more careful because I think they overlap. They actually stop really close. Yeah, so they overlap. That'll do double slash damage if I hit them there, which isn't entirely a bad thing. It's just you got to be careful if you overlap too many things. It'll just insta-kill everything. So I got my slashes. I got my... Actually, I'm trying to think. Because I'm thinking maybe because it's based off Collider Group, you don't need to worry too much about slash, but I'm going to worry about it anyways because it's a curved blade, and I hate curved blades. So, got my colliders. Or sorry, I got my damagers, I got my slash, both slashes. I got my blunt handle, my blunt pommel, and then I got blunt flat up here. So we are done in Unity. So now you want to go to your main folder. You're going to create a new folder. So there we go, there's my axe. You're going to grab your parent file. Make sure that there's nothing here saying that there's an error. If there's an error, go fix it. It usually tells you rather plainly what needs to be fixed. I'm going to drag it in here. Now you're going to create a new asset bundle, or if you already had an asset bundle, you can put it in there. You're going to click off and then click back on because there's a bug with it. Then this is going to be C axe. If I make another axe, like a one-handed axe, I will put it in this asset, in this folder, and then I will put it in C axe as well, so that both my Raider's axe and my smaller axe will be in the same area. So now we are going to asset bundle. We're going to click on your bundle, and you're going to build asset bundles, and that'll run. Now what you want to do is you want to open up folder. You want to go to your Blade and Sorcery streaming assets. So all of these, don't worry about them. They are other mods. You're going to create a new folder. You're going to name it whatever your weapon is, your mod's going to be called. So Kairos Danax. You're going to get a manifest. I will post all the stuff from my last video description in this, so there will be a manifest in the YouTube description. I, however, will take my manifest from here because I know it is recent. And then in your manifest, you're going to name your mod. You can do a description if you want. You want to put your author, mod version, and then right now we are in U7, so game version 7. You are going to go into default. You're going to go into items, and you're going to find an item that is similar to yours. Mine will be Danax. I don't know if it's going to be axe long. So you're going to right click copy because my control C doesn't work. You're going to go into your folder again and paste. You're going to rename this. I don't know if name means much. It really doesn't when you look at it, but when you're in your console, when you're in your console trying to figure out what's wrong, if you named your weapon, say, spear, you're going to be looking for an axe, and it's going to be called spear. Okay, so I was close. It's the Burchard that I grabbed. I mean, it's still similar, so I'm going to take it. So my weapon name, Notepad++ is easier to read. I just use normal Notepad because I formatted my drive and I need to re-download it. So, Raiders Axe. This is version 1 for me. Or sorry, no, you never want to touch version. This is not what I meant. I thought I was in manifest still. So item ID, name it something unique. C long axe. Version 4, if you change that, or if it says something other than version 4, make sure it is 4 comma. This is just for U7. If it changes, it'll change. I mean, I'll make a video every time something major changes. But you want this to be the same as if you go into your default items. You want to find something that is in the game, that you know is in the game, like heavy axe. That's Burchard. I don't remember grabbing heavy axe. I just thought I grabbed long axe, but whatever. Nope. But you want to make sure that it is version 4. If it is version 5, when you make a weapon later, then put version 5. Text. I'll come back to that. I don't know where that even shows up, to be honest, in the description. But author, you want to put your name. This is what shows up in the book. Tier. Right now, tiers don't matter. But when they add the tier system in, that'll matter. Slot. Slot is where you can put it. I believe 1 means you cannot put it in any of your sheaths. 2 is your hips. 3 is hips and back. 4 is just back. Since it is a Dane axe, it is going to go on your back. I don't know what category is exactly. But storage category, axe. That is what I have. Axe is. There's swords. You want to always make sure that there is an S at the end of your thing. If there is not, then it won't put it in the book. There's spears. There is exotics, misc. Pretty much if it's in the game, in the book, you just copy and paste that over. Mass and drag, I never really find anything that works for that, but I'm just going to keep it 5. We will come back to prefab name in a second. So 5 from throw minus false because I don't have a throw. You're going to keep going down. Okay, transform name. I do not have a pierce, but if you add a pierce, pierce will go first, / blunt. So I have a bunch of blunts. I have 3 blunts, 2 slashes. So I'm going to just rewrite this to be /. And we will come back to this later after we move our asset in. And then for my blunts, I have... You don't want to copy this. This closes out your damagers. If you had more than 1 handle, you'd put more than 1 handle. For example, this has 2 handles. I don't have 2 handles, so we are going to get rid of 1. And then we're also going to get rid of that comma. But if you had 2 handles, you'd put your handles there. You'd want your handles named differently. Mine is literally called handle, so that'll still work for me. If it was named like Grabby or something, I would want to name this Grabby. So now we're going to copy this. We're going to paste 2 of them. Transform name, we got blunt handle. That'll stay the same, the damager ID. We got blunt pommel. And we got blunt flat. And then these are both going to be heavy, or axe heavy / for me. If you're going to do sword /, I'll explain where you'll find all this stuff right now, actually. So now that this should be done, you're going to close it. You're going to right click, show and explore. You're going to... I never know if the prefab is needed, so I always just throw it in there. I don't think it's needed, but I throw it in there because if I'm going to upload a mod with a free asset I got or a free model, I will put it out there for other people to do it as they please with it. Like if they want to change things up, they can do that because it was a free file. It's not my file, so there's no point in me holding it back. I mean, if someone steals my mod and re-uploads it, so be it. I really don't care. It just means more people are out there playing with a fun mod. Or at least what I hope is a fun mod. Anyways, you want to copy your prefab in there, and then you want to go into asset bundles, copy your bundle in there. So we are done with that, but I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to go... No, that's not what I wanted. Streaming assets. Default. I'm going to go into damagers. I know how the alphabet works. Anyways, so I have axe heavy slash. I have heavy handle blunt. I didn't even think about using damage or kick. That'd be funny. To make my pommel kick. I think I'm going to do that just for the fun of it. And then damager maul. So punch and kick both ragdoll the enemy if you hit them. That is why I like to use them. It's just mindless fun. And I also usually just put it on like my handle. I have found recently, while playing with my hammer, that if you parry with the handle and you accidentally hit their wrist instead of the weapon, it'll launch them into space. So I'm going to stop doing that on the handle and put it on like a pommel or something. And if my weapon doesn't even have a pommel, I'm going to put a collider on the very bottom and make it basically do punch damage just on the bottom. So that's all my damagers. If you have like say axe slash or dagger pierce, arrow pierce, sword slash, you would put it in here. And then I think we are done with this. If we aren't, I'll pull it back up. So we're going to go back into the item weapon. We're going to go into here. So my blunt flat is going to use maul. You do not need to put damage or underscore. My blunt pommel is going to do kick. And then blunt handle, heavy blunt, axe heavy slash, and then that is all my damagers. Now we're going to come back up to here where I said we would come back to. You're going to put an @ sign. Let me just delete this whole thing. So it's going to be @. This is going to be your bundle name, C_axe. Make sure that it is exactly the same capitalization and everything, even though bundles cannot have capitalization. You're going to do a colon, and then your prefab. Raider axe dot prefab. Capitalization again. Let me... So, now that you've done that, I believe we are just about done. If you want to change your whoosh sound, you can change it here. I'm actually not sure if that'll show up in here. Is there like a sounds effects maybe? No. I'm not sure where to find. It'll be in... Gotta go to file location. Yeah. It'll be in default FX. And then you're gonna scroll down to your whoosh sword, whoosh drawer, whoosh arrow. So it looks like there is currently only 4. You can change the pitch and everything. So you can make it sound really funny. I know there's a way to mod in your own whooshes. I'm not sure. That'll probably be in the modding help section. I guess you could technically make your whoosh the sound of hitting glass or axle metal, but that'll sound really weird, so don't even do that. So yeah, if you want to do that, you could trigger when it happens, like how fast you have to swing the weapon. Then you can go through here, dodge behavior. You can disable how they dodge. I'm not sure exactly what number you would do to do that. So you got like telekinesis throw ratio, how fast you throw it when you do that. Paintable means that blood can get on it. Grippable means you can grab it without the handle. So like if you were to try to grab the head, your hands would grip on and you'd move it, but you wouldn't be holding it. Audio snap path, I think that's like when you pick it up with your telekinesis. Yeah, tier, like I said, is not important right now, but when they add in the tier system, that'll be important. Oh, you want to make sure that it is purchasable. If it says false, you will not be able to get it out of the book. There we go. This is what I wanted. I wanted to change my description to this. Sorry, I dragged that out just to do that. Okay, so your weapon should be done. You want to save it, close. You want to go ahead and open up your Oculus. Launch Blade and Sorcery. I've noticed this pops up after you export it and then you click all. No, it removed my collider groups. Oh no, now there are collider groups again. That was weird. Yeah, okay. But it'll say missing. That may actually screw me over because I deleted that. But shouldn't be something that really messes everything up. So first thing you want to do when loading in, while it goes non-responsive, when loading in you want to hit F8. Hitting F8 will open up a console. So I got 3 red errors. I got an error in one of my JSONs. So I'm not sure this will pop up. Yeah, cannot read file. So I'm going to go into my JSON. Let's see, it is under that one. So line 101, it's also in damagers. So we go down to damagers. And I think right here is the issue. If you are in Notepad, there will be lines, but I think that was the issue because, yeah, it wasn't expecting that because I didn't put a comma. So you close it. So make sure you put commas after each of these if it's a list. Because this is the last one, you don't want anything, and then you want to close it. And then comma, that starts the interactables. So let's relaunch it. That other notepad is just my list of things, but at this point I don't need it. Go ahead and grab my VR headset. Okay, so it's loaded up again. I'm gonna hit F8. So now I only have 3 errors. Okay. No, I was wrong. So I'm going to have to count out lines because I don't have Notepad. So this is always 1, it's not 0. So 1. Oh, it didn't save it. Okay. Oh no, I copied it twice, so I was just blind. You guys probably were yelling at me or something. But if, assuming you did all that, this should all work. Um, I'm not the greatest at coding, so obviously my untrained eyes didn't see that. So we're gonna launch it up again. Unfortunately, there's no way to just to quickly reload assets. So we wait for it to load up. The reason why I don't full screen right away is because sometimes the console bugs. So it should be loading. F8. I have 2 errors, which means that that's not my mod, and that is, I don't know what that is, to be honest. So my yellows, that is because it's the beta. It's referencing thing like Skeleton Warrior, which isn't in the game. And then we come into here, scroll to the top, Raider Axe, Long Axe. There we go. So this is what I mean by it's bugged. You click the X, it doesn't go away until you full screen. I'm gonna do F2. I'm gonna take off my headset real quick. Put on my VR headset. Oh nice, my VR didn't work, so I'm gonna have to close the game and reopen it. And that's if I can somehow manage to. Now I'm gonna try this. I'm literally looking at my computer screen while I do this. No, I can't select it, can I? Yeah. I hate it when it does that, when it doesn't launch the game and it doesn't let me see the game. I'll probably use YouTube Editor to cut out a lot of this, but we'll see. I think an uncut would probably be better for modding. So I wait for my game to load again. Okay, this time it's loading correctly, so I'm actually going to get into the game. Go. Should be launching right about now. And the game loading. Select my midget character because I'm not going to stand up for this. Need to run all the way upstairs. I need to just put an item book in the first room. So I made an axe. That's not mine. That's mine. So the mesh collider didn't work. So. And then I also need to resize a little bit, because I think that's a little big. Yeah, it's a little big. Just a little. But I got my weapon in. I just need to resize it, and then I need to put a collider on the head, because clearly the mesh collider didn't work. I'm not exactly sure how to make it work. So we got that. I'm going to try out the damagers. I'm actually curious how that's going to work. So we're going to run downstairs. We're going to load into an arena. Actually, I didn't think, because it's a custom weapon, it might not spawn any enemies. We select an easy way. Grab this axe. So if your weapon is ever like this, where how I'm holding it doesn't feel right, you want to go in and you want to rotate your model. And then by extension, you're going to need to rotate all of your... Or you can actually set whichever rotation is right on the handle to is default. Yeah, because I don't know what causes this issue, but if you load into a map with a custom weapon, sometimes it doesn't work. Did I drop my weapon? Okay, I did. I'm going to reselect. Travel. Be like a child sitting down. So we got axe, wrong axe. This one, take. So that should do kick damage. That should do. Let's see. I think I want my grip to be like at a 45 or more. No, it needs to. Yeah, it needs to be at like a 45 compared to what it's trying to do right now. I think I need to make my grips off by 45 degrees. Okay, are people going to spawn now? Yeah, here we go. So kick, let's test that. That one works. Let's see if my slice works, even though I don't have a collider. Oh, I just punched my desk. I am sorry for that. No, because I do not have a collider for the head. It does not slash. And then that does small damage, so that'll actually kill them. I think. You want to die? I think you're dead. So yeah. I need to redo my collider on my head. I need to resize a little bit. And then change my handles. But aside from that, you should have a working weapon. From here, it's now just kind of troubleshooting and getting it just right. Which isn't the easiest thing, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to get a weapon to work. I think I'll end it there in my video here. Actually, yeah, I'll end the video here, do that on my own, and then if you have any questions, leave a comment. If ever you want me to live stream it, I'll live stream it. Even if it's just one person that wants to watch, it's all fine by me. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video when I learn how to do more modding. Might do some gameplay videos because I need to give videos for my mods on my mod pages. And yeah, that's it.